Oh, it's streaming. Oh, it's going. Where is it? Load. Okay. Now it's showing the picture. Wow. Hmm. Already did character creation because I spent way too long on character creation, way too long looking at math and thinking, how does this work? Disclosure on this, I have played this game a little bit before. Figured out that I made some major errors in how I built my character and how I wanted to play it. I need to turn off my Discord doobly doo. Um, where? Ah, there we go. Disable all notification sounds. There we go. I fight, fight, and fight. I'll get the correct word sometime. Eventually. My mighty flagship, the sword class frigate Unforgiven. And yes. I must name my man. He kind of looks like a Gregory. But this is 40k. Gregory is Arn. Jabez? Jabes? Aubrey? Seth? Seth? That's a distinctly un 40k name. Ain't nothing. Abner? Seth again. Solar. That is not an Wilbur. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The idea of an Imperial Commissar just named Wilbur. Clement. Finian. It really wants him to be Jabes. Or Seth. Ignatius. You know, I can see him being an Ignatius. Yeah, let's go with that. I'm gonna hit stuff with my sword. I have flavored crackers. Heyo, Rollo. I have crackers. And heresy. I sure love loading bars, though. Oh, it's coming. Here it comes. These bits in this game really do look good, though. I really need to be quieter in my headset without being quieter on the stream, though.
An excellent place for contemplation. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity.
Sure, buddy. Oh, this ostentatious luxury, this laughable pretense. It's enough to make one think that the architects meant to compensate rather than glorify. I could be that guy. I could be that guy. Truly an awe-inspiring sight. Or I could just be, hello? Who are you? Or, why have you disturbed me? I don't know. I like 3.
An interesting perspective. However, allow me to offer you a bit of advice. In the interests of your own well-being, you should frame your thoughts with greater piety. Demonstrating such a lack of care when choosing your words might be viewed by certain people as evidence of insufficient trepidation before the God Emperor, the master of humanity.
I like how the game immediately warns you, hey, this is a 40K game. Maybe show some respect for the Emperor and all that good stuff. I'm like, I don't have a filter, thanks. You seem to attach much importance to words. While I have a fondness for names, I have yet to hear yours.
My apologies. The statements you made were so intriguing that I forgot myself.
Sure, go on.
Allow me to introduce myself. Kunrad Voigtfir, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship Rogue Trader Theodora von Valencius. At your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before.
My name is Ignatius, straight and to the point. Divisional Commissar of the Officio Prefectus Ignatius Xanathar. Or, I have no intention of introducing myself. Yes, give him crap for not introducing himself and then just say, no, I'm not going to introduce myself. Yeah, no. Hi, I'm Ignatius.
Master. Or should I say, von Valencius, scion of a blessed rogue trader house in the service of the Imperium. Perhaps this kinship is short. Understandably so, given that all evidence of the connection was lost in the generations separating you and Lord Captain Theodora. It required no small effort on the part of Her Ladyship's servants to discover and verify this blood tie, which has now made you one of the heirs of this dynasty.
I really like number 1. Same reason I like his answer to number 3 earlier. Lord Captain, strange title for the Lady Theodora. Quite literally, this game gives you every chance to ask after in-game lore, like, things your characters should probably know. You might not know if you played this game without knowing what a Warhammer 40K is. And the game is all too happy to tell you if you ask the question. And I appreciate that. It does not assume you know everything. Oh, even if you know 40K, it doesn't assume you know everything. It'll tell you, oh, have some faith in the God Emperor, and it'll tell you, about rogue traders. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Or you could just skip it if you don't give a floop. Oh. Why am I aboard this vessel? Why have I been brought here? You have a curious title, Master of Whispers. What are your responsibilities? Tell me about the one whose ship I have found myself. You say I'm one of the rogue trader's heirs, so there's another candidate. I assume you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let us address it. Come on, out with it. Tell me what you gotta say.
I have come to invite you to a meeting
This guy's
with
so
Lady Theodora.
long-winded.
I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord's Captain and Master Edelthrad von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
Sure. Let's go. He walks slow.
Is there money to be made?
This always drives me crazy. Everybody else in the world just walks everywhere. It's like, you could be there already. You have the ability to run. Why don't you?
I always have a backup plan.
Well, she seems to be having fun. Saving. That's always concerning.
One of the Von Valencius trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience.
I like that there's just a full tank just there. Just keeping a tank as a trophy instead of, I don't know, using it. I guess the Astra Militarum has like bajillions of them. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. They're dead. Oh well.
Your demise is already calculated.
Poor lad. Yeah, you point at him. Mm-hmm. I'm built for melee and the fricker gave me a pistol.
On it. Who, if not me?
Might as well. Eh? Oops. I was supposed to do that before I attacked him. Oh well. That's actually interesting.
It's as good as done.
Well, that's unfortunate. So yeah, that's very interesting. Every other time that I've played this, because I started one game before, I played out a bit. I would back off because I knew I had a pistol. Because I had built the character for range. And the servitor will make his way through all these little officer guys. That's interesting because that says this is a pre-programmed fight. The servitor will rotate through specific people until you kill it. That was a little dangerous.
You never stood a
There we go.
chance.
I actually hit him this time.
but suspiciously poor timing for such an
Yeah,
accident.
real
Services
suspicious.
malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan.
I don't know about that one. Sounds more like that's gonna stop us. Pretty sure if they want to go somewhere, they're gonna shoot their way through. Or they're already there.
I'm afraid I must remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
Okay. You know, I can kind of understand keeping the tank
Or get left in
as
the
a
dust.
trophy. Wires in the servitor's head are still smoldering. It would seem the cause of this malfunction was the short-circuiting of the motive force. To be fair, if you don't know a thing about AdMech, that's gibberish right there. Probably has... No. A lot of the stuff in conversations
I
is
always keep
look up
my options open.
stuff. The mouse over, but this did. At the very least, a fancy-looking tank has a reason to be on display. This is just a frickin' turret. Like, for real, who keeps a turret as a trophy?
Keep
What did the
yours
turret
much.
do to deserve this? This is a real good turret. That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora, says a man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by sin skin, is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide, practically an admission of heresy. The tall, gray-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson, and suggests an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation, no worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Ion the Sixth? Oh, Ion 6, Edelthrad. My brain didn't, like, register that comma, so I was like, that must be his name. Ion the Sixth, Edelthrad. Which, the order of that makes no sense, so my brain is still dumb, but... While you are considering your answer, Adelthrad, I wish to speak with someone else. Perhaps I shall hear something more interesting than incoherent mumbling. Theodora nods in your direction. Approach. What is this? Edelthrad turns to you and regards you with indignation. Is this someone from your retinue, Theodora? Do you permit your people to interrupt your conversations in such a fashion? I give that permission to those with something of substance to say. Let us see if it was worth it. Theodora tilts her head, her lips stretch into a cold smile. This is Ignatius, the second candidate for the title of my successor. The rogue trader regards you with a look that is imperious, predatory, and oppressive. Step forward, Ignatius. Okay, yep, right there's the mouse over to show what a rogue trader is. I swear I can talk. Consider this hypothetical situation. Ion 6. A new world on the fringes of the Coronis expanse, high seismic activity, regular magma eruptions. Yeah, it sounds safe and great. Metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits to protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say. but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. Mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure? Lore Xenos, lore warp. I'm a former commissar. These spirits could well be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if that is indeed the case and if the population of Ion 6 engages in Xeno worship. Heretical. There are ways to confirm whether what is happening on Ion 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psychers to do so, but it will give us the answer. That sounds really wasteful. This is the Imperium. Everything's wasteful. Ah, yes, we lost a piece of paper. Kill 6 clerks and sacrifice them to the God Emperor. They wouldn't do that. They would do something relatively wasteful and stupid. Probably, ah, yes. You've lost document C16H25. You are condemned to be servitorized. Truly horrific. I'm a former commissar. I would continue sending in more people, one crew after another, until someone succeeded in... Yep. Imperial Guard commissar right there. Genius plan. Genius plan. Just throw bodies at it till it works. Might as well just throw them in a wood chipper. These reports of spirits certainly sound like evidence of heresy. However, I would put my interests first. No matter what means I would have to use, the riches of Ion 6 would be mine. That seems non-committal. Ion 6 must be purged. For the good of the Imperium, I shall exterminate the heretical beliefs and otherworldly powers that rule the native apostates. I don't know. This game is really cool. It is... If you don't know anything about 40K, this is, like, super high sci-fi, CRPG. Lots of guns, lots of explosions, space magic, and, presumably my audio is working this time. Wow. Space magic. And, crazy technology. And a space empire that gives no fricks as to who it throws in a wood chipper. I think I'm going with the lore Xenos. This is the one that makes the most sense. Reasonable and prudent. However, chasing after ethereal creatures may prove a rather long and fruitless endeavor. Throwing random people into a wood chipper also sounds long and fruitless. I don't think there was a good answer in the lot. Edelthrad scoffs. Apart from Xenos, an untrodden planet might be teeming with myriad horrors that are far more dangerous and difficult to eradicate. I suspect that you, Ignatius, are simply unaware of their existence. There could be two things. There could be chaos and there could be Xenos. Take your pick. I'm gonna go with Xenos first because they're slightly more common. I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand, was still more than you could do, Edelthrad. Yeah, needle him. That sounds like a good idea. We're both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. Does it become any one of our status to engage in petty feuds? Yes, it does. This is 40K. Welcome to 40K. Mind your tone. I find your tone most disagreeable, Edelthrad. You will kindly alter the manner in which you address me, or else you will live to regret the consequences. Shut your mouth, Edelthrad, before I decide to shut it for you. I could just be rude. Or I could be, very rude. I like one. I gave a straight answer better than you could do. The color drains from Edelthrad's face, which distorts his features further. Insolent, ignorant, upstart, how dare you? Ah. Feels good. Pissing people off. I love it. My audio is working. I hope it is. OBS says it's working. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm a little paranoid about the mic working today. Edelthrod. Theodore's tone renders him silent. I believe I gave you an assignment on the ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview. I beg your fig- Today's not a talking day, apparently. Ah, thank you. I was a little bit paranoid about it. I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time. Edelthrod bows ceremoniously and takes his leave without sparing you another look. We're gonna get along great. I just know it. Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves, then she turns to you. So Ignatius, why are you here? Was it not you who sent for me? There are questions that I wish to have answered, or I do not know yet just yet. I hope you will clarify that. Let's get some clarification. Theodora smiles wryly. Clarity. A luxury the few of us can afford. There is a reason why I do not explain all the details of the question I posed you earlier. Beyond the borders of the Imperium, seldom is one granted an opportunity to enjoy information in abundance. This, however, is one such opportunity. Good. I like information. My name is Theodora von Valancius Massimo of Scaris. I'm a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of Humanity. That's quite a sentence if you don't know 40k lore. And my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic, the warrant of trade kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign and bode death and ruin to us all. Go on, go on. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you, Ignatius, are one of those with the von Valancius blood in their veins and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. I am ready to take on this sacred purpose. It's all too sudden for me. One of. Does it mean there are other heirs? Yeah, 40k is super cool if you like really dark sci-fi stuff. And there's so much YouTube stuff if you just like want to like dip your toes in it like that. The tabletop is definitely not for everybody. It is super, super not for everybody, especially if you have limited finances. But, the video games are much more affordable. However, they're also pretty hit and miss. This one so far is pretty good. And there's a few others. There's not a lot of, like, proper RPGs. They do a lot of shooters and they do a lot of strategy games. Which, given the setting, makes sense. But one of? Does this mean there are other heirs? Naturally, some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Ethelthrod may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. So maybe I need to get rid of him. Yeah, I do play the tabletop. I've got a little more stuff for tabletop than I should care to admit. I really like it. But I'm really big into like strategy games and tabletop war games. There's also an RPG. Actually, there's a couple RPGs, but some of them are more easily acquirable than others. Well, I guess you can get all of them in PDF format now. Huh. I guess they're all pretty readily acquirable. It's just hard to acquire most of the hard copies of them. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Theodore sighs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. If this other guy gets it, I don't think I'm gonna be his ally. We're already not getting along. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad Voitfir seems served me for many years before he made his mistake. Ooh. You're satisfied with Ethelthrod, then what sense is there in having this conversation? Who are you? Why are you wasting your time on me? She shakes her head. Impatience. I'm rather fond of impatient people. They are not as quick to resign themselves to circumstance, and more eager to show initiative. Even if I do choose Ethelthrod as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. The skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove invaluable here in the Coronis expanse. And thinking about it, tabletop's really fun, but also not great if you have limited time and space for a game. It is a This game plays at a scale. Once you were a commissar of the Imperial Guard, a political officer who is not afraid to face his own death or to send his underlings to theirs. Resolve, faith, implacability, all of it gives one a unique perspective when presented with a situation where a less steadfast individual could falter. Trust me, your future holds plenty of situations where your commitment to your duty or your house's interests will be one of your strengths. Moreover, Theodora inclines her head slightly, your remarkable mental abilities were noted in your profile. If you can find a way to exhibit them in the service of the von Valancius dynasty, well, so much the better. I could ask about the Master of Whispers. I'm ready for this. Oh yes, you would be, wouldn't you? The question is, am I ready to choose you over the rest? You came aboard hours before the warp jump and have not yet distinguished yourself in any way. As things currently stand, I have doubts that you are suitable for the role of rogue trader. Oh, I'm like, alright, can I ask my questions? And then immediately something happens. Vox affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Sounds like any radio. Theodora winces, shuts off the transmission, and gives you an imperious nod. I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. Oh. I love to see other people who paint. Painting minis is really satisfying. It's just a good time. It's a good vibe. Very relaxing. And it's so satisfying when something comes out well. But yeah, like, the expense of the hobby in general is just a killer. Hopefully in the future you'll be less broke. Hopefully everybody will be less broke in the future. In the tabletop, my primary army is Eldar, and I also have more Necrons than I care to count. They're both great fun, and they play very, very differently. So it's very nice to change it up like that. Right now, I daresn't play my Eldar. They have been wickedly overpowered on the tabletop for a while, and playing them tends to get people's knickers in a twist. Navigator? Translation? What are these things that you speak of? Acting like I got frickin' isekai'd into this. An incident took place on the officer's deck. Some servitors went berserk and attacked the crew. Where is your ship headed? What are my current responsibilities? Gracious Lord Captain, surely there are ways I could prove myself a worthy heir. Yeah, I'm not bootlicking. What are my current responsibilities? Observe, learn, absorb. I will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you as I did for Edeltrod. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide. Where are we headed? The Rycad system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers and rivals. Besides me, 2 other rogue traders exist in the Coronis Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valencius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. I set the course for Rykod on the demand. She grimaces, she gives you a stern look and shrugs. For a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose for this voyage, but now is not the time. Alright, that's enough questions. In that case, I shall head to Theodore's Vox Awakens once more. This time you pick up shouting. The Lord Captain freezes, listening to the Voxcast, then nods and draws her weapon. Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. She glances at you. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated. Cultists! Oh boy, I sure love chaos.
You will beg for mercy, but I will grant none.
I'll turn you into corpse starch.
Well, that's dark.
I took care of this one. Reduced to dust. Die.
These two really do work.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
Okay. Time for cover.
Don't let your guard down. I'll see to it personally. I'll make it happen.
Bang. Oh, not much else for me to do. This guy is just like wrecks like 3 and 5 people, and I'm just like pink, pink, pink with my little pistol. Ow! Well, that was rude. Guy I was supposed to hit just dodges it. The guy nearby just gets evaporated. Man, I love plasma guns.
On it.
Where did you shoot that from? I feel like I need the instant replay on that. Just a little trundling sidestep as he pokes out. Well, that was slightly more effective than what I was doing. Theodora waves her hand in a commanding gesture. Mort! Mort! I'm sorry, I cannot see anybody called that and not think of frickin' Madagascar. Take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single Horson survive. The rogue trader turns her eyes to you. Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst onto the deck, hmm? Not bad. I've seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel. She looks at the Vox in her hand. All you can hear is lifeless static. What are your orders? She breaks eye contact with you. Mort has gone ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the arch-militant requires aid. And be quick about it. Okay, all of those guys
Always keep your eye on the
vanished from
prize.
existence. Oh, wrong direction. Where we came from, I think. So that's where the bad guys came from. Supposed to go over here.
I always have a backup plan.
I can't go that way. Guess I go up here.
Let us not dawdle.
Oh, hello, you're familiar. Kunrad Voitvir lets out a sigh of relief upon seeing you. Thank Providence you're alive and well. Sure, sure. Always on time, eh, Kunrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it. Kunrad pointedly looks away from the arch-militant to you. Mort, pull yourself together. The arch-militant looks back at you. What did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away. Mort pulls his Vox from the belt and hurriedly reports the situation. Just a leisurely stroll, you two. Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent, the Vox Master is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report! I've not yet received word from the Engineerium regarding any Gellerfield failures, but my communications were already unstable half an hour ago. Now they've ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I'm receiving scattered reports from the middle decks and only voxcasts from the lower bays. The only voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. Sounds fun! Voitvir pauses. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny. A mutiny against the Emperor's anointed. Execute the traitors, every last one of them. I think that's what we're doing, because they're actively shooting at us. We must provide immediate assistance to those still on the middle decks. Perhaps we might stop this wave from This is indeed severe warp madness. The situation is dire. You don't know the half of it. Mort is in the middle of checking his arsenal. There's only one thing worse than the warp addling the brains of our crew. That's the warp itself crawling all over our decks. Ah, I shouldn't even think about it. It's bad luck. Orders, Lord Captain? First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure, and I have the means to do both things at once. Her expression changes as her eyes flash ominously. Theodora looks at Voitvir. Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons. I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18. That sure tells us a lot. Blast! Master of Whispers, find Edelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Tlas and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-Militant, with me. I must go to my study, and it appears that we might encounter heretics along the way. Ignatius? Theodore glances at you thoughtfully. If I may, Lord Captain? Voitvir's voice is soft and cautious. I would be too if I was trying to tell Lord Captain what to do. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Edelthrad back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the house as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Edelthrad's psyker powers... you're already assuming he's going to be shooting at us. There they go. Then it's settled. Ignatius, find Edelthrad and bring him here. In whatever state you find him. This elevator, she points at the massive doors, leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers on the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand? The only correct thing you can say here is I hear and obey, Lord Captain. Theodore waves a hand impatiently. Then move out. Mort, come. What is he, a dog? I guess he is. Essentially. Let's go! Voitvir gives you a nod. Okay, wait, so she's just sending the two of us? Great. Two people is definitely going to find one guy at the heart of the disturbance. Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk and you do not even have proper gear. I have a proposition. Since I'm the more important person here, you can go in front and shield me from potential threats. I mean, that is how it works. I shall make do, lead the way. Of course you will. He rummages in his pocket for something. Lady Theodora would never have someone she couldn't rely on as one of her heirs. But that is no longer relevant. With a pop and a sharp crackle, something hits you in the abdomen, and you are consumed by unbearable gut-wrenching pain. Ah! My favorite. Best breakfast right there. I promised you a special destiny, Ignatius. Come fulfill it. I think he might be a traitor. Oh, chaos. How lovely you are. Yeah, you can never trust these,
Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warren Chamber. And for that, I need him breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful.
Oh, you're voiced again. Neat. And you can never trust these spy types. I mean, a name like Master of Whispers, I guess it should have been obvious. Voidfear, you two-faced scum! You're the one behind this mayhem!
How perceptive of you. I'll help you with the next insight. I need you have the option to share it voluntarily, or I will squeeze it out of you myself.
He does have a nice voice, though.
We are in the anteroom of the Warren Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
Oh, I like this one. What is it, inbred? Is your blood too thin for the Sentinel?
On the contrary, the warp's blessing has raised me too much above your kind, Fon Valencius. The Sentinel refused to submit to me. But you can help. After all, isn't that what family is for?
Coercion succeeded. What sorry, pathetic excuse do you even have for your apostasy, you sordid, wretched piece of grox shit? Wow.
Wretched? What do you know about wretchedness? Theodora's cur. Are you hoping to buy a grain of her indulgence with your blind loyalty? Oh, I know this delusion. But thank the gods it no longer has power over me. Humanity can rot. I no longer serve mortal kind.
I think we've all seen this song and dance before. It's not gonna end well for you, buddy.
Once my work is done, I'll make that pompous wench Fon Valencius watch as I sacrifice her entire dynasty and commit their fate to the gods. And you will be the instrument by which I will accomplish this righteous act.
Sure, buddy. The blade flashes in the dim light and drops of blood appear on your palm. For a moment, you feel nauseous, your head is spinning, and quiet whispers begin to flood your mind. More and more sourceless voices echo each other, drowning out your own thoughts, replacing them with a singular urge. Go to the gate. Go to the gate. Fight the voice in your head. Get out! I am not your puppet! The voices in your head giggle and mock your desperate outcry. You feel this intruding influence forcing you onto your feet and making you take a step forward toward the gates looming in the center of the chamber. Warp mind control. Good, good, safe. Well. In the gateway arch, you see a cogitator with a human likeness built into the front panel. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, an obedient automaton created from a lobotomized human being. I'm glad that it explains. For all those people who don't know what a servitor is. That way the horror of it isn't lost on them. The sentinel turns its head to you, one of its eye sockets lighting up with two ember-like irises. Let's look for a weapon. You look around in hopes of finding at least something that could work as a weapon. Your search is in vain. The chamber anteroom is completely empty and in perfect working condition. Nary a broken panel or protruding piece of rebar in sight. Man, what kind of RPG is this? No broken objects to use as improvised weapons. Tech use 45. Examine the device. You carefully inspect the design of the gate cogitator. What immediately catches your eye is the strange alloy that was used as material for the machine's components, some of which are unfamiliar to you. You suspect this might be some kind of archaeotech relic. The servitor on the gate begins to move. With the screeching and groaning of metal, it leans forward, closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living human could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. A whisper runs through your consciousness, insisting, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after Voitvir wounded you with the blade did not go away. On the contrary, their source coiled itself into a tight knot somewhere in the depths of your mind. Oh, in for a penny, in for a pound. Stick my hand in his mouth. The sentinel's jaws clamp down around your hand, puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. A few dark drops fall into the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and pumps stir into motion. The vid screen of the cogitator flickers. Several long minutes pass, the sentinel's jaws remain closed, and you are beginning to feel sick. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate, you could catch your breath, maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this ever happened.
High levels of caustic humus. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
You do not understand where this quiet voice is coming from, crackling like static. Is it the sentinel? The cogitator? Is it a figment of your weary mind? Whichever it is, you can clearly hear every word. I suppose this is the onset of the warp madness they warned me about. Sure, I need help. Pain shoots through your head and subsides just as quickly. It would seem the entity coiled in your consciousness does not have the ability to do you any real harm.
Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
Ooh!
Well, there is still another way.
Bye! See you later. Ooh! I get the big fancy doors.
I always keep my options open.
Let it be known that by my will and by the true words of this document, to be the paragon of humanity, unbroken by adversity, to walk bravely first into darkness, to unite. This is going way too quickly for me to read through it. Walk the steadily road of thorns through pain. Yep. Everything else gives you time to read it.
Escort the child of the house to safety.
I need a weapon.
Distance from the current location to the nearest arsenal. Initiating situational calculations.
Servo skull goes silent, its relays clicking, second after second passes, and you realize that the servo skull will not answer you. Good, helpful. I need to contact someone, preferably Theodora.
Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection.
In place of the mechanical screeching, the servo skull's vox projects the voice of Theodora von Valancius. Distorted and ridden with static, yet still recognizable beyond a doubt. Voxmaster, restore communications with the Navigator Sanctum. I'm trying to contact the bridge. If anyone can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper decks at once. I repeat, regroup all available forces and head.
Communication protocols breached. Signal latency assessment unavailable. Unable to establish two-way connection.
These guys need better Wi-Fi. What madness is happening here? Who are you? Who addresses me?
Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel standing by.
Are you the Warrant Sentinel? It just said it's the Warrant Sentinel. Why am I allowed to ask that question? Lead me away.
Middle and upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
Okay. Doesn't look like there's anything else in this room for me but the talking skull.
Keep your wits about you.
I don't suppose I can pull anything off the burning bodies. No? Not shocking. I wouldn't want to touch them either. What am I supposed to do? Can I touch? Do I need to close the door? Oh. Yep, there it is.
Master. Whatever are you doing in the Warren Chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me. What is the meaning of this?
Kunrad Voitvir is a traitor. When we parted ways on the officer's deck, he stunned me somehow and brought me here.
What?
He intended to take revenge on Theodora for something, and trying to reach the warrant was somehow part of that plan. Or I could just scream, "He's clearly serving the unholy gods of the war!" I would rather tell him something useful.
Oh, holy God, Emperor. I presume he is the one responsible for the mutiny. And, Master, I wish to remind you that you are to refer to the Lord Captain as Lady Theodora.
Why don't we leave matters of etiquette for another time? Yeah, they just keep going. I feel like bodies aren't normally given to burning for long periods of time, like they're made of coal. Maybe there's something in the chemical makeup of 40k humans. Or maybe it's just really good flamer fuel, I don't know. Voitvir openly admitted that he is the mastermind behind the mutiny. Or I could complain about him asking questions. So it would seem, but he is not here, and we have a mutiny to end.
Indeed. Indeed.
Freaking flying skull is just preaching in the background.
But seeing one of Lady Theodora's heirs alive inspires at least some degree of optimism.
Glad you're optimistic. That's always good in a crisis.
I have a Medicaid kit with me. And for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense. Here.
Axe, auto pistol, flak, chest plate, and medikit. This is... looks like a las pistol. Okay. Not legally allowed to use the medkit.
What advice do you seek?
Abelard, heal me.
Let me help.
That is a noticeable improvement. Now you're prepared for the trials ahead. The lower decks are teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on.
Sounds like everything's going well.
But that is not the worst of it. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the navigator and the master helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the warp and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive.
I like that. I like surviving. What exactly has gone wrong with the translation?
I am no helmsman. Oh, God Emperor preserve me, navigator. However, I've spent my entire life aboard void ships equipped with warp drives, and I know that portents such as these do not bode well. It could be that the Gellerfield has faltered. Perhaps the navigator was struck down by warp corruption and is fighting for the last shreds of his humanity as we speak.
Neither of those are good. If the Gellerfield's down, that means we're gonna stop seeing cultists, start seeing demons.
If we get thrown off course, we will be forever lost in the war. Naturally, we would likely not have long to live in that scenario. But I will not resign myself to such an outcome just yet.
You're a very, very positive person for living in the 40k universe. Yeah, let's go to the Navigator's Sanctum. I don't want to be lost in the warp. A wave of static suddenly erupts from the servo skull, and you can make out Theodore's words through the noise. To arms, loyal sons and daughters of the God Emperor. Fight the heresy and corruption that threatens to consume our home, and with all your might, destroy those who have dared.
The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward.
Ah, they're very excited. Blard, you go here. They're still burning away. Sweep. Get one creature. Ah. How is this different? One creature within a 1-cell radius. One creature within a 1-cell radius. How is this different? Why is it more a... This can hit both of them. Okay. That was a little bit messy. And then I've got this. Oh, how dare you! And I was trying to be merciful. Hmm. And
My place is at the
move him far enough forward.
It will be done. I took care of this one.
Take him out. Both of us do the same move. Both of us get our freaking attacks parried. Oh, thank you. I completely just missed that somehow.
Just a minor setback.
Good work. Oh, yep. Yep, I completely missed that. You were paying much more attention than I am, apparently.
Your end was inevitable.
It's really convenient they're killing each other for me. And he survived. I don't like that. If I move... No, I can't hit both of them. It's like... The arc is just slightly off.
At your beck and call, reduced to dust.
Ah, he's too close. No! I should have moved up! He kinda... He killed himself by trying to walk away. That looks like a level up right there. Available skills. Cruise. Affects your ability to resist negative effects applied by poisons, stimulators, or alcohols. May give access to new dialogue options. Abelard already has a better cruise than me. It really wants me to take cruise or athletics. Large demolition is better. Medicaid is worse. Why is it that I have a better Medicaid than him, but I can't use the Medicaid thing? I don't know which one. I say I think I want coercion. Is this all I get for a level up? Okay. Blard. Well. Oh yeah. I think this game cares if your allies have the skill too. The Karus. I loot them? Yes! For once I can loot. Take it all. It's all mine. All this pile of garbage. The last pistol's great. That's way better than what I had. More damage, less armor penetration. Plus 10% parry, minus 10 to enemy weapon skill when hit. That's interesting. This is definitely better if you're up against armored targets, but I don't think these guys have armor. At least not an amount that I care about. I have not heard of the 3-body problem.
Is there money to be made?
I feel like a friend of mine mentioned it to me at some point, and I haven't gotten around to reading it. Body problem. I feel like you say they're releasing a show soon. I feel like maybe I heard about the show. Ooh, this looks bad.
The Navigator's Sanctum is directly along the passageway. I pray to the God Emperor that we are not too late.
I always have a backup plan.
And so,
Oh.
he will enter the halls of the blinded guide and witness the radiance of the final dawn through the cracks and fall victim to a whim of fate.
Excuse me?
Master, watch your head. Idira, would it be too much to ask that you phrase your soothsayings plainly for once? That was too close.
Maybe I'll check it out then. I'm always on the lookout for more sci-fi reading. I feel like sometimes it's kind of hard to find, like, really good sci-fi stuff to read. Although maybe I'm just really picky. Because I do read a lot of books. soothsayings.
Sorry, old man. The voices are so loud I can't even hear myself. They shriek, they sing, they... Oh, Abelard, how they sing!
I will tell you, I am really good at avoiding spoilers. I don't know how I'm so good at avoiding spoilers, but I'm pretty good at dodging spoilers. I'll have to check it out then. I'll have to make a note or I'll forget about it. I have this very distinct out of sight, out of mind problem. If something leaves my field of view, it literally ceases to exist. It's that ADHD problem of you have no object permanence. Body problem. I have to check that out. More reading for the reading list. Yeah, Psyker, and I'm not surprised she's a little bit crazy, given, looks like the warp's crawling all over this place.
This is Idira Tlas, personal psyker and diviner of Her Ladyship Theodora von Valancius.
Oh, great, a diviner.
Idira?
This is Orican all over again.
I'm not drunk, old man. I'm suffering the effects of the warp that is seeping through these walls. I see the ship's fate. To die in the waves of the immaterium, fall under the burning rays of the final dawn. And in the roaring blaze, I see a figure standing. Who is it? I have no answer.
That all sounds really bad, I'm gonna be real. The entity in your consciousness shrinks and crawls in deeper, its claws scraping against the walls of your mind, as if the presence is trying to hide from the seer standing before you. Diviner, are you?
Voices from beyond the threshold whisper to me. Sometimes their murmurs are clear, they grant insight. Sometimes they drive me mad. But I am patient. I know how to listen and discern. But now, with this clamor around me, too many voices, too loud.
She makes me sound sane.
And you are von Valancius, one of Lady Theodora's heirs. Well then, we finally meet.
Yes, good to meet you, crazy lady. One more lunatic for the party of crazies. You hear a few clicks from the relays on the servo skull, which has followed you all the way here, and Theodore's scrambled words give way to a voice vaguely familiar to you. Officer's frequency, to all who can hear me. Those with a weapon in their hands are to gather on the officer's deck at once. I repeat, gather on the officer's deck at once and prepare to launch a counterattack.
That's Edelthrat. Oh, Emperor's Providence. The other heir lives as well. Quickly, we must head to...
Not so fast, old man. If we drown in the warp, Lady Theodora's heirs won't be any good to us. If Edelthrat's like me and hasn't yet surrendered his mind or body to the mercy of the warp, then he can still hold on a little longer without us.
Blast it. You're right. First, we need to deal with what is happening here.
What are you doing here?
The whispers called me.
Oh, that
Ones
doesn't
I
sound
can make
concerning
out
at all.
of the screams and screeches. Those who are rocking this boat hit us where it hurt. They went after the navigator, our guide through the warp. Other whispers called me to the enginarium, but it was too late. I heard the cry of our master Cog, and the silence that followed.
Ah, sounds like the tech priest is dead.
What? You don't mean the Engine Seer Prime is...
Said, without a doubt. And the voices wail, heralding countless nightmares, cackling at each soul among the hundreds that are now joining the warp. The shriek from the navigator's sanctum was louder than the rest. And it's better that we save the navigator than some lever puller from a cooling module or a cook from the middle decks.
Yeah, given that everybody dies if the navigator dies, yeah, I think we should see to it.
No, 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 no. Nothing is well about him. Can't you feel the chill crawling on your skin? The eyes watching you? The warp ice has already encased the bulkheads. What follows is calamity.
It'll be fine. Rub some icy hot on it.
But we're not just going to stand here and take it, are we? The state of things in here suggests there's a navigator around. Maybe one who's crippled or at death's door, but still kicking. And since our skin hasn't peeled off our faces just yet, his third eye must be closed. At worst, it's a little roughed up. So what are we moping around for? Let's go protect that noble mutant while we're still alive.
Good plan. Yep, evil psyker and some cultists. I was fully expecting him to be, like, surrounded by Zongors or something.
Challenges make the spoils that much sweeter.
Spare none of them!
Move you up. Move you up. You over here.
They who discern the future on the battlefield.
Forewarning, the Psyker increases the target's dodge and parry by 10%. Analyze enemies. The operative targets one enemy within target melee against. The operative hits a target with an exploit stack. The attack deals plus 5 times perception bonus % more damage. The damage is also increased by 10% for each exploit on the target. The attack removes all exploits on the target. Ooh, that's neat. Nice.
Was
Do that.
Or
And as well throw this on yourself so you don't.
Die on me now.
Oh, you're.
I'll brush this off.
I should have expected that. I should have expected that. I tell her, do your warp magic. Head explodes. Good. Good. You'd think they would be a little more forgiving. They give me a psyker and then immediately stick me in territory where I can't use her. Actually, I think I want you here. Hit him. And then charge the other one.
I took care of this one.
She just instantly offed herself. Just from max health, dead. That's terrific. They're also slightly too far apart.
Who, if not, you never stood a chance. I'll see to it personally. Your end was inevitable.
I think the sword is more effective. Misfortune sounds bad. I assume it's bad. Abelard, do your Abelard thing and make him regret. Yep, there we go. Yeah, all things considered, Perils of the Warp, Psyker instantly explodes is pretty lore accurate. The creature in the chair appears as if it has become one with its throne. You see pink parchment-like skin stretch between the seat and the limbs that have too many joints for a normal human being. The navigator is breathing heavily, the air whistling as it exits through the two dark, gill-like slits on its cheeks. The creature's eyes are shut. The two ordinary eyes, as well as the third one that sits in the center of its forehead. I believe Master Vespiatus still lives? Abelard flinches at the sight of the stretched skin and the dark marks on the face of the creature. The servants are dead, but the chamber, thank the Emperor, is still sealed from the warp. Well, we have a chance of leaving this place alive. Yeah, just address the navigator. Hey, you alive? How you doing, bud? The navigator stirs, barely able to lift his head and half open his normal eyes. A dark drop rolls from under the closed lid of the third eye and down his face, leaving behind a black trail. Your time is short. The voice is coming from the Vox grill at the base of the bizarre chair. It is unclear how the navigator is able to produce human speech. Your time is short to do what? Suddenly, the navigator's body starts... Body? Body. Starts thrashing in place. It lurches forward, then falls back onto the seat, then thrusts forward again as its bones crack and its skin tears open. However, the fusion between the body and the chair appears to be stronger than these wild impetuses. The mutant remains seated, but leans as far forward as he can, his layered raiment slowly turning crimson. The gill slits burst open, forming two hideous, screaming, mouth-like pits. Fall to your knees, mortals, and behold the final dawn. It's not concerning. Didn't she say something about a dawn? Adira shrieks in terror. It came from beyond. His body is not his. Adira's scream is echoed by the silent cries in your head. The unseen creature triumphs at the sight of the navigator succumbing to the paroxysms of the corruption. Its march thunders under the burden of hopes. Unseal your hearts, and I will flood your souls with myriads of words and meanings, each one a portent of salvation within me. The navigator continues to convulse violently in his seat, shrieking and cackling, and then his fit stops abruptly. His face is drenched in black and crimson. The dark ooze from under his third eyelid has turned from a trickle into a stream, mixed with the blood coming out of his nose, and there's purplish swelling around the eye. Run. Flee from this place while I still have the strength. The words come out of the Vox as a labored rattle. I can contain the intrusion, but not for long. We must begin the translation. Leave the warp. But it can't be done without the Master Helmsman's help. How do I help you? The navigator takes a ragged breath. Run. The sanctum will be sealed. I will hold it off, hold on, and wait for the signal from the Master Helmsman. Then I will commence the translation, so run. Run! Run! Alright, Abelard, what do we do? The seneschal gazes at the figure on the chair. The ship can only begin the translation with the assistance of the Master Helmsman, if he is still alive. It is worth a try. We must get to the bridge, but we will need support. Our only option is to fight our way to the officer's deck and join forces with Edelthrod and his people. I believe we will also find Lady Theodora there. She must have heard the call to arms that the servo skull relayed to us earlier. Adira reaches her hand out toward the navigator, but pulls it back at the last moment. Vespiatus, good luck, and thank you. The navigator does not give her a response. Black tears mixed with blood are streaming from under the closed eyelids, and the Vox at the base of the chair is bellowing out static interspersed with distant echoes of otherworldly laughter. Well, that's going well.
Rise to the top.
I don't imagine that guy is gonna live too much longer. Ooh, stick thingy. Psychic staff. Is this better than your staff? No, it is the same. I like how the little servo skull is still just following me, spewing dreck. Anything else for me? Oh. I didn't loot him. Give me your stuff. Anything else for me to steal? No. Oh, well. Onward and outward. Piece of pipe left a noticeable dent in the floor. Yeah, that would have killed me earlier. Onward. Oh. And let that be a lesson. Running from bullets does not work. They move faster than you.
Ship's as good as ours. It's all over for you.
How did that go for you?
I shall pity not
Ooh.
your enemies. I shall heed not their pleas.
Somebody shoot these.
I shall betray not your tenets, nor stray one step from them. Take not
Sister
your
of
gaze
battle.
from me. Leave me not without your grace.
I told you he would protect us.
My God, my light, my emperor.
A little preachy, but very helpful with the bolter there. The white-haired warrior turns to face you, her dark eyes blazing. The weapon quivers in her hands, and for a brief moment, it seems she is not going to stop and will instead continue eliminating every target she sees, starting with you. Please don't. I like having internal organs. Please and thank you.
Argenta. Sister Argenta, it is a relief to see you. We require all the forces we can muster.
Your face, it is unfamiliar. Who are you?
Ignatius von Valancius, Lord Captain's heir.
The hour is dark and daunting. The ship abounds with corruption. The faces of friends who are twisted by sneers of heresy. The eyes of comrades ignite with the archenemy's hunger. I will do what I must to halt the advance of the dark forces. But in these dire moments, little can be trusted. So I must know, why are you here?
This sounded like a very roundabout way to say all that.
Sister, I beg of you. Now is not the time for interrogations. The ship is under attack by heretics. We've been betrayed by our esteemed Master of Whispers. Edelthrad the Heir is waiting for our aid, and Lord Captain Theodora is expecting a report on our success. We are here to deal with the situation, so I suggest we all do just that.
Listen, I am not a traitor.
Truthfully, the Emperor will not forsake you. If you are lying, you will not escape his retribution.
If the Emperor's gonna do everything for you, why bother asking?
I cannot wait to rain righteous fire down upon each and every heretic.
That I believe. Lore Imperium, what is a warrior of the Adeptus Sororitas doing aboard a rogue trader's ship? Your orders serves the ecclesiarchy, do they not? That is a good question.
Sister Argenta is a guest of the Lord Captain. And that story deserves its own time and conversation, under more appropriate circumstances.
Oh, of course, she can interrogate me, but when I try to return the favor...
Enough idle chatter. I am where I must be, and that will suffice.
Oh, good, you're so sure of yourself. happening on the officer's deck?
My lord. And heretics are not just killing the crew. Some kind of blight is sweeping through the decks, filling the air. I saw people going mad the moment they breathed it in, screaming about their dead comrades, tearing out their eyes. I implore you, my lord, be on your guard.
Well, that sounds distinctly concerning. You can't really fight air. We must get to the main hull of the deck.
I shall join you, for it is my duty to the God Emperor to destroy this heresy.
Good. Glad you're on our side.
We will follow. For now, we will hold off any heretics who might try to crawl in through the cracks to join the main assault. And we'll take a look at the generators while we're at it. Those villains made a mess of the cables. Oh, I wish we had a Tectomat with us. But we'll see what we can do without one.
Good to hear it. Sister?
Ready. May Terra's light illuminate our path through fire and darkness.
Did she bust that in? What did she do? This door is closed, but the lock looks intact. It can probably be opened with the right tool. Ooh, loot. Loot, loot, loot. This is junk. Okay. That's interesting.
I always keep my options open.
More goods. Oh yeah, her leg is broken. This creature's agility is reduced by 20. Movement points are reduced by half.
Sometimes you consult
This
the
can
appropriate treatise on
fix
tactical
that, right?
preparedness and weigh every step. Sometimes, though, you just fire your biggest cannon and save them.
Just in time.
You... Okay, apparently that is not going to unbreak her leg.
Keep your wits about you.
Or I guess it only has a chance of unbreaking the leg, I don't know. I think I should have used that when it happened. Woo, it's a party in here. Shh, they haven't noticed me yet.
Suffer not the heretic to live.
I'll bleed you dry.
Put you two in cover. Two of us up front. Easy. What do you got? Single shot, burst fire. There's a lot of numbers. Huh.
I'll do it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a bolter, all right.
A tactically sound approach.
Abelard? Cut him in half.
Reduced to dust. I will
Probably
do
take him
my
out, too.
one fewer target.
He's turned away. Doesn't really have much of a chance, huh? Woo, more of them. Oh, picking a fight.
On it.
I did not kill him. That's not ideal. Can I charge through him?
It's as good as done.
Okay. That was mystical. I can feel... Oh my god, I just slide around him. I don't want to use the lightning because I'm pretty sure... Yeah, that'll kill... I can take a little damage.
Will do.
If it gets rid of both of these heretics. Oh, she hurt herself too. That is probably fine. Soldier gains 4 MP. Their next attack costs 1 AP less and does not count towards the attack limit per turn. When winded, the soldier suffers -10 penalty to ballistic skill and cannot use a running gun. So she gets to double shoot this turn. But is worse at shoot next turn. Fair. You're in the open.
Faith without deeds, each strike is a prayer.
Ah. Abelard. They're standing next to each other. Guess what that means? Ah, they didn't die. Suddenly these guys are getting a lot tankier. They're not all just dying in one hit.
At your beck and call.
Yeah. 40k has psychers. In the case of 40k, it's, framed more as, like, psionics, brain powers, but it's essentially magic. Like, Adira over here is essentially Space Wizard.
I'll see to another enemy down.
There is movement in the Empyrean. On it.
40k magic does have the interesting sort of thing that it's dangerous. Like, earlier when I had her try to use one of her powers on the bridge, she suffered a Perils of the Warp because they're drawing upon, to get their magic, they're drawing upon basically space hell. So sometimes they can muck it up and just, like, blow their own head up. Which is essentially what she did. She completely just worked something and offed herself.
I always get the job done.
On the tabletop, at least in prior editions where Psychic was better supported as, like, its own, like, full mechanic, Psyker tabletop characters could, whenever they used abilities, they would roll 2d6, and if you rolled, I think, just double ones and double sixes, something terrible would happen. That is to say, they would just take damage. Usually in 40k, the magic is kind of framed as a bad thing. but also everybody uses it anyway. Ooh, more stuff. Loot, 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 loot. Stuff everywhere. Most of it is junk, but I'll take it. I love junk. Garbage is my life. It's just... They just destroyed all this furniture for no reason. These guys really have it out for us. +3 bonus to tech use. I think I'm the one with the high tech use.
Always keep your eye on the price.
There's also... There's also less, like, overt magic-y magic. Like, Argenta here is a Sister of Battle. The Sisters of Battle have a, like, weird psychic, semi-psychic faith power that kind of protects them as, like, a shield. Meanwhile, Eldar have a whole bunch of, like, crazy stuff because they're, like, super psychics. Until the warrior's next turn, all incoming damage is reduced by tough bonus, and warrior gains tough bonus temporary wounds. Useful. What does it want me to do? There's the forward button. It'll let me level him up. Why is it being weird? Okay, there it goes. What do you do? The operative removes all exploits from the target to decrease the target's dodge, parry, and armor by 10 plus exploit stacks times perception bonus % until the start of the operative's next turn. She's like a defense destroyer. Revel in slaughter. The soldier immediately removes the winded effect until the end of combat. The soldier gains the following bonuses: +10 to ballistic skill, 5 + 2 times agility bonus % critical damage, agility bonus % critical hit chance. This ability becomes available after the soldier kills 3 enemies. The kill counter is not reset between rounds. Okay. That's cool. That's just straight good. Loot? No loot. I want loot. Looks like I'm going.
Keep my options open.
Follow the guardsman. The roar of the flames rings in your ears, and the choking smoke makes you cough and gasp for air. You instinctively recoil from the scorching heat, wiping your face. A moment later, a hazy silhouette forms in the raging wall of fire. You are surrounded by ear-splitting noise and screaming, yet you distinctly hear the sound of footsteps. And then you see the figure walk out of the fire toward you. It is Theodora von Valancius. I don't think it is. The Tau? The Tau are really cool. I really, really love the, like, Gundam aesthetic of their, suits and stuff. Mind control, I think, is a little bit of a strong term. It is something of a weird, like, actually, it might be straight up mind control. I'm not sure. Because there is definitely some, like, brainwashing skullduggery going on with it. But I don't know that it's necessarily full mind control all of the time. Definitely, I think there is, like, definite there's definite brainwashing, especially with, like, the subsidiary species that work for them. Because they'll, like, brainwash commanders and stuff, and then they'll have them command the troops, so they don't need to brainwash the troops. But there's a lot of, like, yeah, it used to be not quite that way when they first came out. They were kind of, like, framed as, like, the good guys, but a lot of people got very, very mad over that. And, they kind of reneged and made it a little more questionable with the mind control and stuff. So yeah, that is actually a pretty spot-on definition of what they do. There is a subsect of them that escaped from the mind control. Commander Farsight. Commander Farsight kind of, like, rules a separate enclave that broke off of the Empire. His mini is really, really cool. However, they have their own problems, like possible chaos corruption. So you can never be all good. 40k won't let it happen. Her expression is calm, terrifyingly so for someone whose body is engulfed in an inferno. One of her hands is resting on the hilt of her power sword, the other is raised in an inviting gesture. Are you lost, my heir? Argenta goes as still as a statue, then slowly raises her weapon. An apparition. A sorceress apparition! Trickery of the warp! Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Glad you recognized it. Sister, you will lower the weapon. Despite his commanding tone, Abelard does not sound too confident. He is staring at the rogue trader, and you notice a muscle in his cheek twitching. Threatening the Lord Captain is outrageous. How did you get in here? I'm a rogue trader, Ignatius. I am wherever my will demands me to be. I'm not sure that's how it works. Would you prefer to be elsewhere this time? Indubitably. But are you ready? Theodora watches you without blinking. Her snake-like gaze almost makes you forget about the fire searing you, leaving burns on your skin. I can lead you out of these flames, Ignatius, show you a path, rid you of pain, and give you a weapon so that you may defeat your enemies. Decide. Your mouth begins to salivate. Each word Theodora speaks is like music to your ears. The entity that now dwells in the deepest recesses of your mind is pleading, begging, demanding that you give her an immediate answer, and that answer can be nothing other than acceptance. No? Do not listen to this abomination. Ignatius, if there is naught but his light in your heart, if you are resolute in your faith, then step into the flames. The Emperor protects. I'm not sure that's a good idea either. I know you have warp fuckery that lets you walk through fire and do stupid crap and survive. I don't. His faithful will not be deterred by either darkness or deceitful promises, nor will the fire burn those who carry the torch of faith in their soul. No, I'm pretty sure fire just burns anybody. I don't think the fire cares, honey. To the void with you. We need to follow Lady Theodora before we suffocate in this furnace. The people. Abelard looks back at the coughing and confused people around you. Ignatius, the survivors from the middle decks, we must help the crew. Lead them out, find a way around. Over the roaring flames, you hear distant sounds, frightening voices. screams, muffled and distorted as if there were a body of water between you and them. And we'll miss our chance to meet up with Edit. Adira breaks off and starts coughing violently. Her knees buckle and she looks like she's about to fall. Ignatius, what are you waiting for? Well, apparently I'm waiting for you all to have your part of the say in this. Walk through the fire, accept the offer of help, get the people off the bridge. I'll be perfectly honest. Chaos corruption sounds like a bad way to go. I've seen how that ends. Tentacles and hentai and all that good stuff. I don't need that in my life. And, I have an entire crew here. I can only imagine that taking either of these kills all of these people. I'm getting these people out of here. You look away and the illusion breaks. The unbearable heat instantly makes your skin burn. And the voices of the people beyond the shroud of smoke grow stronger and hopeful. Once you and your companions rush back, barking orders and guiding the survivors. In your determination, you completely forget about Theodora, and when you turn your head, you see nothing but the bellowing fire. Oh, that was a little violent.
Let us not dawdle.
Where did it go? The thing that in front of us in the fire? I could have sworn.
To the same place all unholy visions go. Do you want to follow it, witch?
Your role. Holier than thou.
Just as I planned.
The sisters have a very cool aesthetic, but gosh darn it if they are not just unbearable. Where are we going? Look at a helmet. Plus 5% armor. I can put that on me, or I can put that on Abelard. Ah, but if I put it on me, it'll cover my cool hat. Abelard, you get a helmet. His armor's a lot better than mine. Oh. That is a useful statistic. This armor reduces the incoming damage of average enemy attacks in this chapter by 28%. Huh. Okay. I just swore I saw an interactable here. Oh, there it is. Crash the platform.
I better myself through my service.
Somebody's gonna have to fix that later. Instead of blowing up half the ship, couldn't we have, like, climbed over this? Seemed a lot more reasonable.
Too late. We are too late. Or perhaps Edelthrad and his escort never made it here. Which would be even worse.
Or they could be fighting on the bridge as we speak, without us.
Seem very upset about that prospect.
My lord, I beg your pardon for interrupting. The people are asking for orders. You came back to save us. So now we will follow you through thick and thin.
Ew.
To the bridge. If Edelthrad is there, then he requires immediate assistance. I say there is one thing that I find most troubling. The Lord Captain's Voxcasts. They are still coming in, even though it would make sense for Lady Theodora to be on the bridge right now, at the head of the counter-assault. I feel uneasy. What if the Lord Captain is besieged in her own chambers? With your permission, I suggest that we confirm for ourselves that she is not. We can use the same elevator that Lady Theodora and Mort headed for earlier.
I'll be perfectly honest. That sounds like a terrible idea. We kind of need to save the bridge to get out of the warp. I mean, she's important and all, Lady Captain and all that, but, I feel like everybody's dead if we don't fix the bridge issue. But I mean, we'll go with your suggestion. It's fine.
I always have a backup plan.
Because like any CRPG, the order is not a suggestion, it is an order. This is the door from earlier, right? Yeah.
Attention to detail is the key to success.
Thank you, Abelard. Shinies. What a shinies.
Nothing escapes my sight.
Lots of stuff. More
Keep
stuff.
your wits about you.
What is the purpose of this room?
Is there money to be made?
To the Lord Captain's quarters.
Always keep your eye on the price.
Ah, that's concerning. Ooh. She looks slightly dead. Like, I could be mistaken, I'm not an expert on dead people, but that looks pretty dead.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
Theodore von Valancius's body is sprawled on the large, blood-drenched desk. The Archmilitant's corpse, still clutching a weapon, is slumped against one of the bulkheads.
Emperor, accept thy faithful souls. No! Lord Captain, I didn't hear a thing. Not a whisper, not a breath. It was so loud. Why didn't I foresee this?
Oh, I can understand why you're dismayed. But let's try and figure out who did this.
Lord Captain, who would even dare? Unless that rat, Voidsphere.
I don't know that it was Voigtveer. I think Voigtveer... I agree with number 2 here. I think Voigtveer wished humiliation and suffering upon her. He seemed to want something out of this. No problem. You have a good night. Rest well.
It could have happened in the heat of battle. Not to mention that Mort was here, and he would have protected Lady Theodora to the last.
This does not look like a fight. She's sitting in her chair. This looks like an execution, which is somewhat distressing.
How could Mort have failed her so terribly? The Archmilitant was born on a death world. He had lightning-fast reflexes.
Well, he probably failed her by also dying, because he also looks quite dead.
I can look at things in my own way. If you find something that might bear the imprint of the killer, just give it to me, and I'll try to see what secrets it holds.
Okay, let's look at the Archmilitant. What got him? An auto pistol shot went straight through Mort's forehead. Well, that's mystical. Spraying the floor and the furniture around with blood, brain matter, and shards of his skull. The safety on the Arch-Militant's weapon is off. The killer must have been a split second quicker than he. Well, yeah, that's pretty mystical. They said he was a Death Worlder, and he got shot in the forehead before he even got a shot off. That's, spooky. That sounds like a Stardust level reaction times. What's with Theodora? You lean closer to the body. The cause of death is apparent. What ended the rogue trader's life was an auto pistol shot. An extraordinarily accurate one at that. Theodora's face bears an expression of surprise. The last emotion she experienced in life. Something on the floor catches your eye. A heap of blood-spattered parchments and scrolls that must have fallen off the desk. And as you lean down for a closer look, you notice something else. Small shards of glass scattered on the floor. Look at those shards. It is difficult to say what exactly was broken. The object fell on the floor, and that is as much as you can ascertain. Upon closer examination, the shards appear iridescent rather than completely transparent, as if they had been submerged in promethium. And the papers? Reports, accounts, dispatches. You go over the scrolls until you stumble upon a document that is starkly different from the rest. It is handwritten letter signed with the initials XC, and a seal with a symbol that is vaguely familiar to you. Handwritten letter with a seal. And sends a shiver down your spine. The author of this letter, addressed to Theodora von Valancius, signed it with the seal of one of the holy ordos of the Emperor's Inquisition. The secret police of the Imperium that relentlessly hunt heretics, Xenos, and other enemies of humanity. Dear, what do the shards tell you?
I see streaks of color, luminescence, blue lights, faces drawing closer. Lady Theodora and Conrad. And what is that? Ah! Something dark, enormous. Oh, this glass thing was something foul, that's for sure.
I had a feeling.
Tainted witchcraft.
By touching Theodora?
It doesn't work like that. I can try to read the memories of objects, but dead bodies are a different story. Something like that would require her soul. And after what we saw on the officer's deck, I won't risk searching for it in a warp.
Oh, let's move on then.
The crucible of battle calls to me once more.
Yeah, slow your roll, lady.
We must see if we can find anything.
Idira, you can't bring her back. Let her go.
You'd give up so easily, old man? I expected as much from the sister. It's not like she has a heart. But you? Oh no. I'll get to the bottom of this. I'll find the one responsible for murdering the Lord Captain. And when I do, that scum will regret the day they were born.
I am sure they will. Ooh. What things to steal? Mine. Ooh, fancy cloak. Ooh. Ooh, I get his feet. I get his helmet. Fancy. My brain tried to say favorite, and I was trying to say fancy. Got his fancy helmet. So we got weird iridescent glass shards, spooky warp skullduggery. Oh, hi.
Beware the ire of the witch.
I will take you down.
We're going first, so I think you two in cover. Lard, brace for impact. Oh. I actually don't think I want to do a charge then.
At your back and I took care of this one. It will be done.
Oop. He parried it. That's unfortunate. Well, your turn is over. This is the little... Oh, that's the character thing. I saw the little Astartes helmet. I was like, what the heck is that?
I'll make it happen.
Oh, this thing's probably armored. Now's when I wish I had the axe.
You should have thought twice before crossing
I'm just hitting it like tink tink. Oh, that's sad. Oh, that is sad.
Who, if not me? I'll see to it personally.
Just activate everything. Just activate everything.
Doubt is for the weak.
You need a different angle. You don't need cover, right? You'll be fine without it.
It could do worse, but not by much.
I think she hit me more than she hit the bad guys.
Rookies! Ah!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
As the
That'll
Emperor
get.
commands, I act.
Gets us some momentum.
Will do.
It would have been helpful if she went first. With the exploit thing. Don't think I want to. This is fine. It only hurts me a little bit. And it gets rid of 2 of the baddies, so.
My prescience has failed me.
Reduced to dust.
Alright. It's just the. What? What? Did Abelard also swing at him? Like he started the shoot animation before Abelard turned and then launched that line. So I have to assume that Abelard also got an attack on him.
I'm ready
Going to
for
walk
whatever
away
comes.
and then charge back.
The best defense is a good offense. Consider this a taste of what's to come.
Guided by faith.
Let's try to have you not shoot the rest of us this time. And you missed. Of course you did. You can just brain scream it, right? That'll kill it? Yep. There we go. Now we get another level up. Level up. What do we got? Daring Breach. What? The warrior immediately restores all AP and MP and gains a plus agility bonus MP until the end of the turn. They don't lose MP after performing attacks. The warrior has no limit on melee weapon attacks this turn. Well, that's rad. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, there's a lot of stuff. Calculated relations may be useful. That, as it stands, it would give me a plus 10 to coercion, commerce, and persuasion. There were suggested ones at the top, right? Whenever an enemy attacks the warrior's next melee attack against that enemy deals an additional plus 4 damage. Does not stack, but it can be reactivated after another attack made by either the same enemy or a different one. The warrior has less than... If the warrior has less than 50% wounds, they gain plus 5 plus tough bonus plus agility bonus percent critical hit chance. Epicenter of Slaughter. Whenever the warriors attack, they gain plus 1 stack of Epicenter of Slaughter until the end of combat. At the start of their turn, the warrior gains plus 1 temporary wound for each stack. These temporary wounds cannot exceed 4. Warrior deals an additional plus 3 damage to enemies that have no allies in adjacent cells. Plus 1 damage deflection. The parry chance is increased by 25% of the warrior's total armor. One sounds good. Increases charge distance by 3 cells. Plus 4 damage deflection against the first attack made by every enemy this combat. The warrior becomes incredibly deft. Charge and slash do not end the warrior's movement and grant plus 10 plus agility bonus percent dodge for 1 round after use. Crowd kill. Area attacks deal an additional 1 plus strength bonus divided by 2 damage for each enemy in the area of effect. That'd be really cool if there were, like, tighter crowds. Or I had a longer weapon. Give me a big old chain axe, like... More range on that thing. Rip and tear until it is done. Opening strike. Let's just take thick skin. You... I don't want to just build him the same as my guy. Plus 3 damage to enemies that have no allies in adjacent cells. That happens fairly often. And with that charge ability, he can, like, chase down gunners and stuff. Tide of Excellence. Whenever an operative triggers an exploit on an enemy, the operative gains plus 1 damage and plus 2% armor penetration until the end of combat. Stacks. Weak body, weak... I speak English, I swear. Whenever the operative attacks an enemy that is at full wounds, that attack deals 10 plus perception bonus % more damage to that enemy. What's her perception? Perception is pretty good. Where an operative hits an enemy that is effective. I think there's stuff. When an ally suffers a critical hit, it becomes a normal hit instead, and a natural luck effect is removed. Is that a Necron getting cut in half? Looks like it. Using a heroic act by the Psyker decreases Veil degradation by -3. I don't know what that does. I should probably find out. Whenever the Psyker uses a damaging psychic power on targets that are 6 cells or further from the Psyker, the targets suffer an additional +3 damage. Second Sight. Psyker's psychic powers that have a range of 2 cells or more have their range increased by +4. Those kind of go hand in hand. Huh. So if she's in cover or out of line of sight, she's more dangerous. Ooh. Rukari weapon proficiency, Eldari weapons proficiency. Level 22. So that's well into it, I guess. Ooh. At the start of the operative's turn, the enemy with the largest number of exploits receives an additional exploit stack if 2 or more enemies are tied for the largest number of exploit stacks. One of those enemies is chosen at random. Over at Protocol, while the operative is in half cover, her cover efficiency is increased by 15%. That'll be useful. She's really soft and squishy. Uncanny Sight. The operative inflicts an exploit even on enemies which are out of the operative's line of sight at the start of the turn. +4 ballistic skill, +1. Useful. Combat insight. While the operative's perception bonus is 10 or higher, they gain +1 AP and ignore enemies' deflection? I feel like getting it to that point would be kind of hard, but that sounds really useful. Crackers. Joint offense actually sounds really useful. Because then she becomes like a hard support. Exposed weakness costs 0 AP. It doesn't sound that great, honestly. Because there's not a lot you can really do with the extra 2 AP. I'm sure I'll appreciate this later when she has more stuff she can do with her AP, but right now it's kind of iffy. Reduces toughness and willpower for 1 round. I actually think joint offense is the way to go. I think their suggestion is not that great. She hasn't had to reload yet. She's the only one who it's relevant for. You don't really have to reload a sword. Whenever the soldier deals damage, their critical damage is increased by 1% until the end of combat. 3 plus agility bonus % critical hit chance. Soldier gains critical hit chance, camaraderie. Reach adjacent ally, that's never gonna happen. 2 of the people are melee, they're gonna be all over heckin' hell. They're not gonna be anywhere near her. After the soldier deals damage to 3 different enemies, the soldier gains 10 plus 2 times ES bonus % more damage for their next attack. Whenever the soldier successfully dodges or uses cover against an enemy's attack, they gain a guaranteed critical hit against that enemy. First hit of each burst attack deals additional damage equal to the weapon's current rate of fire. There's a lot. There's just a lot of stuff. I'm guessing this counts every event of dealing damage, so if she, like, burst fires and hits 3 people, that increases her critical damage. I feel like the critical hit chance is better. And theoretically, she's a ranged unit. I want her to be in cover. Okay, let's actually... +5 tough if their intelligence is less than 35. Well, doesn't work for me. It's +5 fellowship for each enemy in a 2-cell radius. I don't know that that really helps me, but sure. +10 bonus to commerce and lore Imperium. Sure. Requires dogmatic follower. This helmet grants its wearer immunity to enemy critical hits for the first 3 rounds of combat. And he can wear that. Because he is dumb. That means I lose my hat. My fancy hat. No! Okay. To the bridge! I'm just gonna wind up eating this entire bag of crackers. Which is neither here nor there.
The first sacrifice opens the eye. The second sacrifice draws its
Oh boy, this is not a good plan, buddy. Ethelthred, who is clutching a bleeding wound on his chest, gives you a tormented look. Help has arrived? Too late to change the tide, I'm afraid. But if there is any honor in you, we can at least die with dignity and give our lives for the rogue traitor. Unfortunately, Theodore is a little bit dead. Ethelthrod's eyes widen. God, Emperor, preserve us. The rogue traitor is dead? The ship has lost her lord captain and the house its head. Ethelthred shudders and grabs his shoulder as you watch the sleeve of his jacket burst open and 2 bone growths pierce through the fabric. Ah! Chaos corruption. Lovely. No matter what ritual Kunrad is performing there, the warp is too strong. I cannot withstand it. I feel my body changing with every second, the warp ringing in the air. This is the end. We will perish in the warp, along with the warrant and all the dynasty's heirs. The enemy of humanity has triumphed. Adira looks anxiously at Ethelthrad, then she glances back at you. I've seen it before. We'd better get away from him. The changes are already accelerating. The ship can still be steered out of the warp, but we must first restore communication between the bridge and the navigator's sanctum. Ethelthred stares at you and his eyes harden with cold reserve. Resolve, not reserve. Nothing is reserved. Everything is resolved. Once more, and we have no right to bow our heads. I'm telling you, mate, this is not a good idea. You can see Kunrad Voitvir clearly in the gloom of the bridge. The broken blade he is holding is stained with dark drops that seem to have a pearlescent glimmer to them. We are out of time. Ethelthrad bites his knuckle, desperately thinking. You see a wave ripple across the whites of Ethelthrad's eyes, and they begin to turn a sickly yellow. Voidvir, you duplicitous cur! The rogue traitor's death will be avenged. What? Theodore is dead? Voidvir stares at you in seemingly genuine bewilderment. No. That can't be. No, I still haven't... Ethelthred lowers his head, then he sighs and locks eyes with you, his gaze cold, haughty, and fanatical. The ritual will not be completed. I'll take care of it. And you, see to it that the void ship breaks free from the warp. Watch over our realm, and farewell. Ethelthred, don't! And no, Ethelthred do! He's already kind of doomed.
Your ritual won't be finished, heretic!
Oh, that was a bad plan on your part. Oh.
Don't you dare!
I feel like that's the least interesting thing he could have turned into, but okay. That's not cover. What's cover over here? That's cover. Actually, you get the light cover. You get the heavy... Oh, there's heavy cover over here. Can she shoot from back there is the question. Let's hope. Let us hope. Ooh, it doesn't have armor. Or at least not much. Ow! It's poking me. Abelard, do your thing.
It will be done. I will do my duty.
I parried him. That's not good.
At your beck and call.
Ender Abelard. Ooh. You're doing good, buddy. Now. Okay, yeah, she's got line of sight. No, no, she doesn't. Okay.
Rejoice in battle.
You gotta walk over there, apparently. Oh lord, this is not... The end point of your little charge, not ideal. Let's try single shots.
Eradicated. Faith without deeds is worthless. None can escape the
Alright,
Emperor's
single shots works. You should take cover, Buck. Forewarning. Let's analyze that. Going to be perfectly clear in that analyzing anything that comes out of the warp is a distinctly bad idea.
Will do.
It's prone to causing bouts of insanity, chaos, corruption, and it just ate that guy. Okay.
But of course.
Well, there's one less cultist.
A mere pain won't stop me.
Okay, let's turn on your special ability.
Perfect moment. I'll make it. On it.
That's a reasonable amount of damage. I'm a little bit hurt. Move over a little bit. I should have actually walked him back, but okay. Then he could charge back at it. Okay, it can just keep doing that. And it just straight up gets a turn when it does that.
It will be done.
So if I ever fight one of these again... Well, those guys are all dead. That's unfortunate.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Give us that furious recital. We don't want to use that this turn.
Doubt is for the weak. My Emperor.
Ooh. Critical hit. There is still a heretic. You get rid of that.
Can I fall back now?
He is just out of range.
Cover me. I'm not so sure. Anything else?
Does it just get a turn whenever I heard it? I really need the extra defenses.
Or
I already used mine. Oh, yeah.
I'll see to
Let's
it
do that.
personally.
I am bleeding. If he tries to pull back, it's gonna hit him. Okay, just hit it. And then endure. That one dude with the las gun doing a lot of work.
In thy light I stand, and thy light I crave. I'll do it.
Come on, kill it.
As the
I
Emperor
needed to
commands,
die.
I act. I'll do it.
Please stop missing.
Faith without deeds is worthless. I will not.
And she's out. Who's next? Crew officer, and then heretic cutthroat. Please finish off the random heretic before it, like, eats him and gets back to full health.
Mocking me.
Why are you
What
taking
is this
damage?
foreboding? Anything else?
Scream in its head. Good.
Can't catch my breath.
Can you charge it? No. No path to reach target.
Who, if not me?
But I can do that.
Your end was inevitable.
And he's dead. Wow. Okay. Went terribly. Mental of heroism. Poor lad. It's all just a touch unfortunate, huh? Fires iconoclast follower. Each heroic act used in battle increases wearer's dodge by 20% until the end of combat. I like that. You can wear this. You can have a fancy blue cloak. Whenever the wearer of these gloves gets an injury or falls unconscious in combat, their allies gain +1 bonus to damage. You get downed if you, like, get sneezed on. Let's put that on you. At least give me some advantage for going down all the time. Or, like, exploding your own head.
Yeah. It's dead.
Ravor, Master Helmsman, Systems Status Report. My, the Emperor, it's essential. Living and breathing, the white-haired man is sickly pale skin salutes you. Well, there's a tricky question. The whole place is so overgrown with foul wickedry, we'll be scrubbing it off the vid screens for throne knows how long. We need to re-establish contact with the Navigator's Sanctum. It is our only chance of escaping from the warp. Your words seem to knock the officers out of their stupor, and the air around you fills with voices and commands being issued. You hear someone sobbing, one of the survivors buckling under the stress. Abelard cuffs the crying officer without even looking. Restore the Vox channel to the Navigator's Sanctum. Ready the crew. Prepare for translation to real space. Abelard pauses for a few seconds before turning to you. Ignatius, you may call me superstitious, but translation is not a good time to disregard rules. You are the only one who speaks for House von Valancius. You may not be the Lord Captain, but you, more than anyone else, deserve to take her place in the ritual that is about to commence. He directs your attention upward, to the throne that sits at the apex of the tall staircase. Alright, begin the ritual. Let's do it! Make me Lord Captain. Oh, the image before you is hazy. swaying in sorcerous currents invisible to mortal eyes, as if whatever is beneath this thin shell is constantly changing, while still remaining the same. It has taken on the guise of Theodora, but the false rogue trader's eyes reveal the entity's true, surreal nature. One of Theodora's eyes is engulfed in otherworldly fire, the other, a vessel of ancient evil, bores into you. A voice seeps directly into your brain without ever reaching your ears, and this voice booms with all the horrors of the warp. Who are you to oppose destiny itself for the sake of lives that are not your own? So many threads stretch between you and other creatures of your world. Pitiful, worthless links, ready to shatter at the slightest touch. A muddled, erratic, pointless tangle. It resonates and merges with the voices that have already dug their foul roots into your consciousness. A moment later, you realize that all these voices are the myriad manifestations of the same call that has finally invaded your mind. I am saving my people. Do your worst, but you cannot stop me. Theodora lets out a long screech, a shrill, overwhelming sound that can only be interpreted as laughter. Lead them, mortal. Guide them. Persuade them. Force them to walk your path. You will need followers, for destiny is preordained. Your head begins to spin and viscous drops slither down your cheeks. You blink, and you are no longer looking at Theodora. It is the traitor of Voitvir, just as fluid and ephemeral as the previous apparition. The same terrifying voice seethes from his lips. The aspirant vowed to return with a trophy, a relic that could serve the edge of daybreak. That fate was assured and the steps chosen, and yet you broke the unbreakable when you took the aspirant's place. I see you on the day when the final dawn rises over the iron world. I see you by my side on that day, the day of my resurrection. The image is scattered by invisible sorcerous winds, and you see Adira, her eyes aglow with the same sinister flame. Your image is woven into the tapestry of things to come. I am the will of the Weaver of Destinies. Ah, we've got Tzeentch. I should have figured. And today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility. The thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. The thread that will guide you and the weapon of our return to me. A cavalcade of hazy glimpses of a future yet unknown pass before your eyes. A flash of crimson, purple. The images replace one another in a violent kaleidoscope without ever letting you get a proper look at them. Through the rippling mirage, you see a twisted image of Abelard, the loyal seneschal of the dynasty. The path is set, child of the dawn. The thread is woven. Follow it, servant of mine. Ravor turns around and looks up at you. He hesitates for a few moments, then addresses Abelard, who is standing next to you. Seneschal, the Navigator's sanctum, is silent. The Vox signal is stable, which means... Abelard nods absent-mindedly. The Navigator gave his life battling the storm that nearly claimed the Von Valancius flagship. We will honor his memory along with all those who died this day. Ravor does not look away. He is giving you a hard stare, his white brows furrowed. Seneschal, will you tell us now? Who was that? Where's the Lord Captain?
As First Officer, it is my duty to inform you with the greatest regret and indelible sorrow that Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius is dead. May her memory never fade from the annals of the dynasty. By right of blood succession, and with the absence of other kin who could challenge this decision, it is hereby declared that the successor to Theodora von Valancius is her heir, the rightful inheritor of the warrant of trade, and the title of Rogue Trader. The official ascension ceremony will be held at a later time. In the interim, have you lost your tongues? Hail your law. It is because of his toils that we all still live. The deed is done, Master. My apologies. I meant to say Lord Captain.
I'm the Lord Captain. Look at me. Woo!
The treachery of the Master of Whispers was fruitless, but victory came at a great cost.
Oh.
Lord Captain Theodora von Valencius perished along with her heir, Edelthrad, and thousands of crew members.
I like this art.
Yet hope remained, for the second in line to the rogue trader dynasty survived, and through the strength of his resolve, saved those who were counting on him for protection.
But now what do we do? Conspiracy. I completed the prologue. Well, that's probably as good a place as any to let off for the day. Oh, there's more talking first. Deep shadows of weariness can be seen on Abelard's face. Though the old officer's eyes are keen, they rake over you from head to toe. He frowns, mutters something, then nods to himself. Well then, your lordship. You cannot help but notice that the seneschal does not know how to talk to you or where to begin. His hesitation brings an involuntary smirk to your face, as though someone else entirely is gloating at the old officer's confusion. Seeing your smile, Abelard pulls himself together. You must now hold your first officer's briefing in your new role as Lord Captain. For many of those who are about to join us on the bridge, this will also be their first briefing. We sustained massive losses among the senior and middle-ranking officers. Some posts had to be filled by the deputy's deputy, while others go unfilled entirely, and now the deck clans are deciding who will take over the leaderless crews. Game will literally let you say, I don't want to be the main character. Have you succeeded in tracking down Voitvir? Abelard grits his teeth. No, Lord Captain. In all the commotion, his trail went cold. Our people are still on the hunt for him and any mutineers who may still be skulking the ship's many corridors. But frankly, I would not be surprised to hear that we are now one shuttle short. I'm afraid that it will be some time before he answers for all that he has wrought. How do we come to lose so many officers? It appears the heretics were deliberately targeting the vessel's command. They knew exactly whom they were looking for and where they could be found, which is unsurprising given that their informant on board was our own Master of Whispers. Abelard grimaces. Alright. Start the briefing. Summon the officers. With a gesture, Abelard relays the order to the adjutants at the far end of the magnificent chamber. A dozen pairs of eyes bore into you, the expressions revealing restraint, joy, curiosity, and wariness. Attention, officers, you have been granted an honor. Lord Captain Ignatius von Valancius will personally conduct today's briefing. Our most gracious Lord Captain is ready to hear your reports. Perhaps you would introduce those present, Abelard? As you wish, your lordship. Abelard points to a tall, slender woman whose body seems to contain as many implants as it does flesh. Vigdis Suriota of the Ptoleman line, our new Vox Master. Well, that's not terrifying at all. looking at the tentacles coming out of the back of my little head, my little guy's head. There might be a family resemblance there. It is an honor to serve your lordship. The Voxmaster offers a deep bow. Aboard this vessel, you have at your command thousands of crew members and hundreds of officers and section chiefs. I am responsible for receiving, processing, and sending all communications between you and them, as well as external sources. I am your eyes and mouth, Lord Captain. Beside her is Ravor, the Master Helmsman. He steers our ship along the course set by the Lord Captain and monitors the void around us to ensure that we do not stray into an asteroid field or pirate trap. Pirate trap. I can speak, I swear. The bearded man with pale, almost transparent skin, large, dark circles under his eyes, and a dour expression that seems hardwired into his face gives a sullen nod. "Aye, Captain. This here ship's as good as home to me, so rest assured she's in safe hands. I'll die before I let her come to any grief." And lastly, our High Factorum Janrus Danrock, who oversees supplies, procurement, and the general material well-being of the ship. Dressed in an embroidered jacket, the heavy-set man with oiled hair offers an obsequious smile and bows. "It is an honor, your lordship. You may trust me with all matters concerning your comfort. Everything will be done to the highest standard." In the second row, we have the 3 officers charged with overseeing the ship's vital functions. The Master of Ordnance is responsible for the artillery aboard. The Infernus Master, whose crew work to prevent and extinguish fires on the ship. And lastly, the Drives Master, servant of the Omniziah. The 3 officers salute you. The Infernus Master does so with confidence, while the Master of Ordnance betrays nervousness. The Drives Master offers a salute resembling a dance involving complicated manipulation of all the tech priest mechadendrites. Thank you, Abelard. Greetings to you all. I serve at your pleasure, Lord Captain. Oh, let's see the Master Helmsman. Right you are, Lord Captain. To cut a long story short, the outlook is bleak. The ship's sound, more or less, but without our Engineer Prime and Navigator, who fell in battle, we have no way out of the system. If we try to set so much as a toe inside the warp, I don't know what'll happen first. Our warp drive being torn to pieces, or all of us melting into the bulkheads. You know, that would be interesting to see, at least. Your lordship, if you will allow me to interject. When we arrived in this system, my crew followed standard protocols and conducted a count of all available communication channels in the region. One of them was a Navis Nobilite station. The station maintains complete Vox silence, but even its presence here inspires hope. To have located a navigator in the very same system is an incredible stroke of luck, a true blessing from the God Emperor. A sharp bolt of pain lances through your skull as if in response to what you just heard. You understand that it is not the God Emperor you should thank for such good fortune. The words of the demon that appeared before you during the translation of real space echo in your mind. I am the will of the Weaver of Destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility. The thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. If I were you, I'd grab this chance with both hands, or else you'll soon be eyeing up asteroids to use as your new residence. Slightly less shitty news, we can go round and round this system till our heads are swimming, as long as the Prometheum supplies last. If any thick as rock shit lowlifes come sniffing around, we'll be able to take them out, so don't you worry on that score. Drives Master? A voice distorted by a Vox retranslator emerges from under the tech priest's scarlet hood. Lord Captain, the foes that set upon this novel void ship destroyed the repositories of hundreds of machine spirits. The great warp engine entrusted into my charge is unharmed thanks to the Omniziah, but its spirit mourns its dead brethren. We have not yet identified a prayer protocol capable of assuaging its sorrow and anger. If only you guys actually knew how the machine works so you could actually repair it instead of praying to it and throwing salt at it. If only. With great sorrow, I must also report that the Engineer Prime Overseer and spiritual authority of all tech priests on board fell in battle. The Magos was betrayed by the little flesh that remained part of him, a most terrible loss. There is no one among my comrades aboard whose experience and comprehension of the sacred protocols equals that of the fallen Magos. We require a replacement, and as soon as possible. Okay, I see, thank you. The tech priest bows her head. Master of Ordnance? The Master of Ordnance gives you a gloomy look. No. My job's simple. Maintain the arsenal and fire where I'm told. But just ask anyone. We've got no able crew, no Lord Captain. Master of Ordnance, you forget yourself. So what? Comes the officer's hostile and bitter reply. It's as if a dam has burst inside and all his pent-up emotions are rushing out of him. The ship's in ruins! Every second officer's dead, now we've got a green Lord Captain who's supposed to lead us to void knows where. Silence! The bridge's magnificent glass panes seem to tremble under the force of Abelard's roar. Enforcers, seize this mutineer! Abelard grunts. If only one officer out of the whole lot has fallen to pieces, then that's not bad at all. Your lordship, I do humbly apologize on behalf of the entire crew. What would you have us do with the Master of Ordnance? The former Master of Ordnance, I should say. Besides find a replacement, that is, for we already have one lined up. I can just execute him, just on the spot. Kill him. Do it. Experienced Masters of Ordnance are few and far between, so for that reason he may remain in post. I leave his punishment at your discretion, Abelard. Or I can play a Iconoclast. I've already got Iconoclast points. Stand down. Release him. I have no intention of punishing a man for a moment of weakness. Not after the terrible attack we have endured. Yeah, I'll be merciful. I'll be kind in this game. This shall prove an uncommon type of me. Abelard stares unblinkingly at the Master of Ordnance. Cease your sniveling. You disgrace yourself and your entire clan. Enough! The hysterics are over, let us resume. The Master of Ordnance stands up, wiping the blood from his broken nose. His face is the picture of shock. What just happened seems to be dawning on him only now, and the knowledge of the fate he so narrowly escaped. High Factotum would have you to report. We are toiling day and night to compile a full account of the losses. The task will require next to no involvement from your lordship. I will personally ensure that all damaged components are given into the tech priest's hands for attention, and that all lost supplies are replaced. There's only one resource that I cannot replenish single-handedly, and that is people. We have lost more than 2,000 crew members, and, unfortunately, the number is not confined to the scum of the lower decks, which are easily replaced, but also includes trained professionals. We will be able to make up our losses on the nearest planet, Rykad Minoris. However, the planet, the whole system in fact, belongs to the Winter Scale Rogue Trader dynasty. We cannot simply begin recruiting on the planet without first coming to an understanding with the governor. In that respect, I am powerless. Negotiations on this level are a matter for the Rogue Trader. Especially true given Caligos Winterscale's penchant for attacking first and asking questions later, and the kind of thick-skulled thugs he usually installs as governors on his planets. Rumbles Abelard, frowning. Alright, finally the Infernus Master's report. Yes, Lord Captain, the tall young man bows his head in deference. I can report that all fires across all decks have now been extinguished. A preliminary damage assessment, in terms of material losses and crew casualties, has been completed. The results have been submitted to the Seneschal and the High Factotum. The post passed to him after the previous Infernus Master and his next 3 deputies expired in the line of duty. Abelard remarks in a low voice, pitched for your ears only. The lad is managing well so far. He can take the heat, so to speak. To summarize, we have sustained serious losses in crew members, and we require a new Engine Seer Prime and Navigator. Is this all that is preventing us from continuing the voyage? Precisely, Lord Captain, but bear in mind that this will not be the end of our trials. The ship's systems must be properly inspected for major damage, which can only be carried out at Footfall Station, home to the only dockyard in the sector, but we will never reach Footfall without solving these 3 immediate problems. Can you tell me about the system in which we find ourselves? I cede to the Vox Master on this point. Miss Tolleman? We are in the Reichad star system, and our voyage here was undertaken on the orders of your lordship's predecessor. There are 3 inhabited bodies in the system, and our attempts to send Vox messages have produced confounding results. The Navis Nobilite station has not simply failed to answer, it seems to be maintaining total Vox silence. However, we did receive a distress signal from the prison planetoid in the system, and Reichad Minoris itself is also not responding to our hails. But what is most alarming is that our augurs have intercepted signals from the surface that seem to indicate ongoing hostilities on the planet. The situation is not very encouraging, but without a navigator, a tech priest, and a new crew members, we won't be able to travel anywhere. Therefore, we must go to the planet and Navis Nobilite station and find out what in the void is going on. Thank you for all your reports. Dismissed. The assembled officers salute you as one. Your lordship, there is one other thing, a confidential matter of the utmost importance. Lady Theodora, Abelard hesitates, your eternally esteemed predecessor, brought the ship here to this system for a reason. She was given a secret commission. You perhaps are wondering who has the authority to commission a rogue trader to do anything, and I shall tell you, the Lord Inquisitor, the hand of the Emperor, the chief architect of his will in the Coronis expanse. I came across a strange handwritten letter on Theodora's desk. It was signed XC. You were referring to the contents of that note, I presume. Yes, quite right. XC. Xavier Calcazar. Lady Theodora was sent to seek out the Lord Inquisitor's right-hand man, one Heinrich von Kallax, an interrogator, you understand. All I know is that he is somewhere in this system and that we must find him and offer him whatever assistance he requires, and then deliver him to Footfall on the Furibundus system. Finding him without any more information to go on will be difficult indeed, but an Inquisitor is an important individual. The authorities in the system, either the Navis Nobilite or the governor on Reichad Minoris, may know something. That is all of it, your lordship. You have a great deal of work ahead of you, but it is a mere taste of the daily burden of a rogue trader. Soon you must take up the reins of the von Valancius Protectorate. Abelard gives you another scrutinizing look as if trying to gauge how long you will hold out under his mountain of problems. His face softens slightly, and he seems he is about to offer some words of encouragement. Adira? Sister Argenta? Explain yourselves. The Sister of Battle grimly nods towards Adira. The Psyker is suffering some ailment or dark madness. She insisted on seeing the rogue trader. I judged that it would be unwise to leave her unsupervised. For a brief moment, Sister Argenta's voice sounds hesitant. I was also hoping to approach you with a personal request, but it can wait. Speak with me when you have time, rogue trader. Adira's eyes rove over those assembled. One word bursts from her lips. Daybreak. Into your senses. Damn it! Adira presses her fingers to her temples in desperation. Your lordship, here's the thing. I was trying to see the immediate future, and it hit me so hard. My head is still spinning. Something very strange is heading our way, and I can't make out what it is no matter how hard I try. A single word is all I can make echo out. Daybreak, or maybe it's dawn, and it's ringing and ringing like an echo. Like a bell. But if it's daybreak, then why is it so dark? We cannot extract any information of value from a single word. Can you tell us anything else, Miss Tlass? No. Not yet, anyway. The voices are going berserk, all shouting at once. I can't make sense of it anymore. As soon as I know or sense anything, I'll report it, alright? Lord Captain, if you want me to take a closer look into your future, find me on the bridge and we can talk. Lady Theodora was well served by my whispers on many occasions, and I'm sure you would benefit from them as well. The Psyker's bitten lips stretch into a wry smile. If there is nothing else of value to report, I declare this briefing concluded. It's time to get to work. Okay. That's gotta be the end of it. That shall be the end of the stream. Oh, glorious black screen.